Hello, everyone, and welcome to Top Corner Talk, Episode 2. We are here. We're back. Hopefully you watched the first one. If not, finish watching this and go catch up on what we did last week. We talked about a lot of great stuff. Our predictions for some of the preseason games, we were all wrong. A hot take from Oscar, some Chris Durkin stats, a lot of good stuff coming up. Today we got some stats on Celio Pompeu coming up from myself. Oscar's got a good hot take relating to that a little bit. We got a lot of good stuff coming up, talking about the preseason games that the City SC played at the Coachella Valley, coming back into St. Louis now for the first game on the 22nd. A lot of good stuff coming up. Mo, go ahead and take it away. Oh, I think Mo's muted. He's having technical difficulties recently. Don't worry about that. We all have it. Sometimes our cameras don't work, our microphones don't work. It is what it is. We're going to go on the fly here. We'll jump straight into some preseason action. Oscar, all three preseason games being played. All of our predictions were wrong. Losing one and drawing two, if I'm correct.
Yeah, so the first one we lost.
Yep.
Was against RSL, and
it was.
The team. I think they keep trying players for the moment, especially with that game. It wasn't too much of what we expect to have on the initial starting 11 for the 22nd. I think what we got was a lot of mix of players that they're still trying to earn their spot in the squad, and not much to show, not much to look at, just a lot of hassle, but not too much in it. I don't know if you have any specific on that one.
Yeah, for sure. I think I saw a lot of the same old with the possession being in the other team's favor in all three games. Although no major stats were released, taking time myself to look at possession numbers, every single game we were under 40%. By we, I mean City SC and the guys over in Coachella Valley for the three games they played. Last season, 21 of the last 23 games we had less than 50% possession. So I feel like we've as fans have become accustomed to this idea of just not having possession, almost being counter punchers instead of pushing the pace. And I think that's something that Olaf Melberg and Lutz and the guys that are shaping this team want to see less of. They want to see more pushing the pace. They want to see more possession. They want to see more oomph from this squad. And having guys like Celio Pompeu come back, adding guys like Timo Baumgartel, I think will help with that in due time. Again, it's still preseason. These guys are still getting warmed up for the season. And honestly, I like what I saw from some of the defenders. Thomas Tøtland getting a game-saving goal in the 87th minute in the second game versus New York City FC, I believe, if that was not Austin.
Yeah. And
Austin, the 87th minute.
Just to correct ourselves, we have not played the third game in Coachella. That's tomorrow. 2-12. Against New York City FC. So we'll get that game obviously tomorrow, hoping that will set up the full squad that what we would expect for our 22nd game. We do have another preseason game that they come back in St. Louis and play San Jose on the 15th, closed door, so there's not gonna be any broadcast or anything on that, but yeah, just I wanted to jump on that. But the Austin game, I think that play saved the game, really. There was not much to watch, in my opinion. Unfortunately, there was not much creativity. Seemed like Austin was on the front foot all the time and kind of like knowing what they're doing, while City was still kind of experimenting a little bit. But the game, the goal was good from the combination play. And that's something that we expect to see more, and we want to see often with this team, especially what coach is saying, that he wants to be on the front foot with the ball, knowing what to do with the ball, and be aggressive with it. and that was a good creation where both wings were up on the front, like they were all up in the enemy's box and creating that width that the team needed. Good competition with Celio, Vasilev, and Hubert, and then finally a good cross all the way out to Tøtland that it was waiting wide open to get that ball. So.
Yeah, it was a great play. I know I was excited. I went crazy during math class. Everyone looked like me. Everyone looked at me like I was insane. But I mean,
don't say that too loud. Get us in trouble.
For sure. I mean, one of the things that I saw, especially last season and in these first two games, is just a lack of quality shots. Having your right wing back having to come up and score, the equalizer. Of course, Tøtland's done that last season. You had that amazing play where he flicked the ball over a defender and tied the game up in the last minutes, similar to this one last season. And I think when you have this lack of production, you have those defensive players cheating up, and you have those defensive players getting out of position sometimes. But I mean, we have touches in the box to be able to make these chances, but we're not seeing quality shots on net. We're not seeing these, crazy crosses. We're not seeing, because when we see these crosses, they're getting, we have less than 20% cross completion percentage in the preseason so far. We're not getting quality chances inside the box. We're getting touches, but we're not making those into chances. And I think that's one of the things we saw is we started to make those into chances right there. Indiana Vasilev, Celio Pompeu, Kyle Hebert. I think it was Matt Baker that posted out. It was a 14 pass, web that led up to that play. I know it was Jeremy Clements on X that talked about how Thomas Tøtland was the player he was looking forward to the most this season, and if he could stay, and if other players can stay healthy, that he'll be a mainstay in that area. But I mean, when we're talking about these players that are making differences, it's everybody on the pitch. It's not just Marcel Hartel. It's not just Cedric Toyshirt. It's these guys like Thomas Tøtland, Joachim Nilsson, Kyle Hebert that are making plays in the final third, and I think that's really important for this team.
Yeah, but also trying to figure out that during the Austin game, the goal especially, you probably see that it was when they did the whole swap of the City players. So it looks like it was a little bit more of the miscommunication. But Austin, what definitely impressed me on their side was that they were, going forward, their speed and explosive was like a huge difference than what we had on the City side. So I don't know if it's just them testing what works or what doesn't, but City was definitely able to kind of sponge a lot of those tries. But I would say that probably Austin may be a little bit more ready compared to what we are at this moment. But I'm interested to see if it will wait till the San Jose game to have like maybe our in quote starting 11 and see how things goes, or are they going to try it from, I guess, the last Coachella game? Because right now, if we kind of look at all of the players, they're still feeling each other and try to see who plays how, when, and where.
For sure.
I mean, the only guaranteed.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we've seen a lot of shakeups, not only within this team, but just to kind of go into some MLS news. I mean, you had a lot of things happening. Lucho Acosta from Cincinnati to FC Dallas, and a lot of guys, a lot of these, I mean, this is a huge thing. I mean, you're seeing the top two contenders for most valuable player last season, and Chucho Arango and Lucho Acosta being moved, before the season starts to, San Jose and Cincinnati or FC Dallas, respectively. But I mean, there's a lot of things shaking up in the league right now if you want to move to some MLS news.
Yeah, and I think it was mostly the spend money on players. It's definitely showed that the teams maybe do have the money to spend it. It's just that they weren't giving the route to do so. And it looks like a few players wanted the move or maybe a change of scenery, because like the Okochikos, all the players you're referring to, they sort of went to like the sunny space or the high market teams versus, more of a Midwestern teams, right?
Yeah, I mean, we saw like reports from Marco Royce talking about how this was different from any championship he's won. you get a smaller salary cap after you win the championship to make it more even, so we don't see dynasties like we see in American football with the Chiefs and the Patriots, where they're winning, year by year by year by year. It's making it more competitive for some of these smaller market teams that aren't in Los Angeles or New York or Chicago. I mean, I think, and we also saw, in a City SC move, one of the most respected people I've talked to in the City community, Jake Nerwinski, cutting ties with the team. Definitely a tough thing to see because he was one of the original starting 11 in the first ever game for St. Louis City SC in 2023. Heck of a player, maybe not the right fit for him here in St. Louis. There was some issues, some controversy with Matt Baker again, saying that the team, we're not in close talks to Jake Nerwinski, and Jake Nerwinski actually responded, "Well, where are you getting this information? I'd like to know because I haven't gotten any reports or anything from the team." So we've seen a lot of these almost, kind of media breaking points so far in this offseason, that we've seen players commenting some things that we haven't seen before. And some different perspectives, and then also the idea of media getting to know these things before the players themselves. I know if we're going to switch over, talk about American football for a second, the UFL Battlehawks in St. Louis, their starting quarterback last year, AJ McCarron, didn't know he got cut until he talked to the media. The word got out before they told him that he was being released. So I think there's a big problem in the sports community with transparency. I think it's a tough thing to think about there when you have all these media hungry people like ourselves that want to know what's happening, that want to share with our communities. But again, we have to remember these are people at the end of the day, and we're talking about people's jobs. So it's really important to talk about that stuff.
Yeah, and I think the whole transfer in players not having a decision for that, I think it's almost maybe an American thing. Because like in Europe, especially in soccer players, they have to negotiate with the teams themselves, and then the teams themselves have to negotiate. So the players have a little bit more, of a say on where they're going, versus what I've seen in American sports, at least.
Yeah, I mean, the American version of that would be the no trade clause, to be able to say you can't move me, or no movement clause to say you can't do anything. Usually do to star players like Lucho Acosta had a no movement clause, and he waived it to be able to be transferred to FC Dallas, I believe. And yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying.
Hey,
yeah, because I think it was the same thing with LeBron James, right? I think I forgot who just joined his team.
Luka Doncic.
Yes, and then one of the reporters asked him, he's like, "Yeah, I have a no trade clause, so I could have just asked for it, but he didn't." Yeah. So it's one of those situations. I think maybe it's just American sports, unless someone says otherwise.
For sure.
Yes, Oscar, you were going to say something?
No, I mean, I think it's just interesting how things are moving around now with. Like Charlie was saying, like these days the best players of last year, they're all in the move, and you would think like those players were gonna stay put in their teams where they were already kind of like built around them. So it will be a very interesting season to see the new stars and the new teams coming up. I mean, it amazes me. I didn't hear about Lucho Acosta, so I was like trying to find the news. But that's crazy that Dallas takes a player of that caliber.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's crazy.
So I think we do have. I think it looks like Deb and Isabel that requested to join. So those were probably our very first, live fans to join. So should we try that out today and see? Maybe Isabel will be the first one to join us and see
why not?
If she has any fun things.
Let's go for it.
All right, so let's try that out. So we sent her the invite. So let's see if Isabel will join us.
Just real quick, a crazy thing that I thought was fake, similar to Messi's son, scoring 12 goals, that was fake. The United States men's national team under 17 that actually had a St. Louis City player 2 on St. Louis City 2 player on the starting 11, one against the U.S. Virgin Islands 22-0 last night, which is just absurd for a soccer score. That is a American football score. That is a volleyball score. That is not a soccer score.
I am happy and oh wow, we have a lot of Santos in this requesting to join.
So I told them to join us, but they're having issues with the audio because they have to sign up. Unless we have a
Guapo on here.
Do we have like the YouTube link? Maybe we can post out.
Yeah, so I think we might have to work on that one too for the YouTube because else they will not be able to join. But I think while they're trying to, if they can jump in, I'm very glad that a lot of people are talking about the U17 players, because I watched the last World Cup as well of the U17. So the US was actually doing pretty well, I think, to the semifinals, I believe, and I think they faced France or others. So they do have quality talent in there. Out of 22-0, it's just maybe because the caliber of the other team they were playing. So don't expect, those type of numbers. This was
don't make a boom out of nothing because
that's correct.
It was playing nobody. Like, with all respect with the U.S. Virgin Island players, but they don't have any sort of resources or anything compared to what these kids in the U.S. have. So
because you watch the other, like the U17 World Cup, some of those kids that were under 17, but some of them were first starters for some Ligue 1 teams. Like France, I think, had like 5 or 6 players that were on the bench for a Ligue 1 team. So I think it's impressive. But I guess maybe since it was America, so they were kind of happy and, celebrating it. But you got to the kid scored 9 goals. It's nice. And I think he now joined Nashville FC.
Yeah.
But, just temper it down a little bit, I think, because,
Yeah. Do that with, like, copy Haaland when he did it on the World Cup, and then we can take that serious.
Yes.
Yeah. Just really quickly, for anybody that maybe is struggling with audio, I put a Twitter handle. I'm streaming on Twitter also, this exact screen right here, for anybody that needs to access it that way on an alternative link.
So do we have to give you guys a tutorial? So do you have any other updates for City on that part? Because it looks like we went all around the world a little bit.
No, we had Jake Nerwinski departing. I can't really think of anything else.
I was curious about why Tøtland didn't play the last preseason game. He was not dressed. I don't know if that has been addressed anywhere, but I saw him in one corner that he was under a canopy just watching with just sweats and tennis shoes. So I'm curious about why he wasn't there, as we had most of the starting lineup or most of the top players in that mix that game. So I'm curious about tomorrow, maybe if he's going to be out there or not.
I wonder if it was like workload. Maybe.
Yeah, it could be workload. It could be something that's lingering. It could just be something, muscle related. Could be something when you're warming up for the season, you pull something real quick. It also could just be the fact that on that left side, it's pretty busy right now with Celio Pompeu coming back and some of the young guys fitting in there. It could just be, like Mo said, a workload thing. But only one way to find out. Time will
we'll need him to score 12, 15 goals. So,
hey. I mean,
for sure.
and he's one of the main pieces of this offense. So let's not keep him out.
Yeah, I think it's a great.
Oh, go
ahead.
No, I'm just saying that it looks like just the preseason at this moment. Nothing much to write home about other than full-blown switch during halftime or closer to halftime. So I think playing wise, preseason just going according to plan. As long as we don't have crazy injuries for me. That is a good way to start preseason.
Yeah. I think it's a perfect time to move over to some City SC statistics here today. As you know, I talk about stats. I'm a yapper of stats. Anything numbers, I'm your guy. Today, last time we talked about Chris Durkin. We're talking more offensive today. We're talking about the long-awaited comeback of Celio Pompeu and what I think his outlook will look like for next season. Celio, before his gruesome injury against FC Dallas mid-season that took him out as a season-ending injury to his ankle. Before that, he had every goal that he scored was from the left side, all three of the ones he scored in his 15 appearances. Top 3 in chances created on City SC before the injury. So he was one of our most driven players creating these chances on that left side, on that left channel, that left wing, that were putting crosses into the middle or just, getting chances in general. We're looking at amazing dribbles. His dribbling statistics are in the top 90 percentile for City SC and the MLS. He's a guy that can dribble in traffic. He's a guy that can dribble past somebody, and he's a guy that can pass back if he needs to very quickly. He's very good on the fly. I feel like he doesn't use set pieces that much because he doesn't need to. He's a guy that can go out there and make a man miss and create a chance very quickly. He was actually not one of our best defending forward and defending forward midfielder last season with his duels won and his tackles being over 50%, similar to Chris Durkin's statistics before the season, before his season was cut short due to injury, which is very surprising because we see him as more of an offensively minded person. But his ability to get back into the final third, into his own final third, and make a play is very, very good there. And then to finish it up, 24 times, 24 times Celio Pompeu one possession in the final third in his 15 games played before the injury. That is a very interesting statistic to look at when we see the ability to make chances and the ability to get those chances back if someone messes up. I think you're going to have mishaps in a game. You're going to have someone that gives up possession in the final third. You're going to have someone that gives up possession in midfield. You're going to have someone that gives up possession in your own goal box. But if you're able to bounce back from those things, as Celio Pompeu did before his injury last season, it's very important. And the things I saw from him in the game versus Austin FC were very encouraging. He had an assist on the play, he had a secondary assist per se because he passed it to Vasilev on a quick give and go, and then Vasilev had the cross into Tøtland, who eventually scored the equalizer in that game to bring it 1-1 and eventually end up in a draw. But his playmaking abilities on the left side are I would say top tier on this squad, and I'd be surprised if he doesn't get the minutes that he got last season, even with this crowded offensive front with Cedric Teuscher, like you said, Marcel Hartel, Indiana Vasilev, Shua Klaus, and Simon Becher, as well as guys like Rasmus Alm and Edward Leuven. We'll see how he fits in there, but I see Celio Pompeu when he's on the pitch. I'll see him I would say look out for him. Look out for number 12 in City Red when you're watching these games, especially on the 22nd when we kick off our season. If he's on the pitch, look out for any playmaking abilities and any big plays that Celio Pompeu can create, because I think he will, and I know he will this season. That's why he's my highlighted player of statistics today. That's it.
Nice. I'm glad we have you on that part, because Celio is one of those players that I pretty much take all the stats out, and I just literally just enjoy him watch a play, because I think he's one of those players, that has the flair. That I think he's like the epitome of what brought me to soccer football first. It's like the joy of playing and then take on players. Clearly, you saw defensive wise, he's not afraid to track back to get the ball. But the moment he takes it back, he goes forward and then tries to take on other people. He almost takes the whole, tactical part that we see a lot now these days out of the question, and he just, play free-flowing football or soccer for those of you. So I think that's what kind of attracted me a lot more about Celio, is just the way he plays, smile on his face, and just a kid playing soccer. Yeah. And that's what I think attracts me the most about the way he plays.
Yeah. he always looks like he's having fun out there, and I guarantee he is.
Yes. Oscar?
Yeah, he's the typical Brazilian player that you would expect, like have that flair, had that spice, and trying to take people on, and creating opportunities. So that's undeniable. I do not agree on a lot of things that you guys said, but I'm gonna save mine for my section because
There we go. The
But
one
yeah,
we're all waiting for.
Yeah, so it's something. Obviously, there is a big expectation coming back from the injury, so we'll see how this year develops. But once we get to the topic, I'll give mine.
Ooh, all right,
sure.
so I can see it might be time to just switch that.
Let's do it.
All right.
All right.
I think you covered all of that. So should we talk MLS updates? I know you spoke about all the transfers, but also we just recently had the Super Bowl, and we had commercials regarding not only for our local area was CDSC, but it was also a certain Messi that was in not only the stadium, and I think probably some people may not like it, but it's probably was the most famous athlete in that stadium because everybody wants to take pictures with him, even the players and stars. But he had his commercial, the Beats by Dre, and then he had the Adidas. So how do you guys feel about seeing not only MLS being promoted in football, American football biggest stage, and then him being plastered everywhere? Even the NFL posted out on their sites and social media that Messi's there.
I think it's crazy. I mean, to be able to have the MLS produce that, 30 seconds of an NFL Super Bowl ad is $8 million. That's a lot of money to get your message out there. And I watched the City commercial. My family did. I had friends that watched it. I told them, watch out for this after halftime. And they all said it was amazing. I thought it was great. It got me excited for the season. The announcing of Simon Bedger's goal was amazing. That brought me back. And really just the fans, the chants that I haven't heard since September of last year, kind of coming back to me, getting ready for this season. It got me excited. It got me very excited. And with Messi, I mean, him and Jordi Alba, I think, are more popular in the world than the NFL combined, I would say. I think they are very, you have the two most influential. That's true. That's true. Yeah. You're talking about the three most influential, and Suarez. You're talking about the four most influential people in soccer, but also the two most influential people in American soccer. Talking about it being at this game and being in commercials, I think it's a big representation of where the MLS is going, and it's only going up, in my opinion.
I would always say that's how big soccer and football is, and how small American football is.
That debate, right? That famous.
Yeah. That's another debate, but it shows you like how global soccer football is compared to the American football. Because yes, all the American and here they all think, well, Super Bowl is the biggest stage in the world, like it's the biggest thing, but you put a fraction of soccer into that environment, and everybody's paying attention to a fraction, especially when it's Messi, and obviously we'll like add it to the three other ex-Barcelona players that were there, and everybody was just going crazy about it. So yes, it's amazing that MLS can now say that those players are in the MLS, and they're only a fraction of what the MLS has now. Yes, one is the best of the world for some, it's the best of the history for some. Yes, but the other ones are also part, and we're missing other players that they're amazing to watch, like the way that we touched base last week with the player don't want to mention playing in LA Galaxy and Benteke and now Saha and even like Lucho Costa. There's many players right now that they're bringing this league level a lot, and it's gonna be very exciting to watch this league how it keeps developing and what's the level this year.
Yeah, I'll say this: Antoine Griezmann was there too. Jose Altidore. So soccer was being represented.
I'll say this, Oscar. Just, I'm a huge NFL fan. I'm a huge Packers fan. You'll never catch me without something green on a given Sunday. I just to say this: when you have to advertise something, you're getting it out there. I didn't see any Super Bowl or NFL commercials during MLS games last season. I think in America, we're seeing the expansion of soccer and European soccer especially, and we're seeing the expansion of the MLS and its influence and its sphere of influence because there's already the, I think, four-pronged, kings of, major league sports in America, which is Major League Baseball, the National Hockey League, the National Basketball Association, and the NFL, the National Football League. When you can add a fifth prong in there that could be Major League Soccer in the MLS, I mean, you're looking at something that could be you could be talking about the MLS, and it could be just as known as the NBA. And I think that's where they want it in 10 years to be in that point. And I think they're on the right track when we talk about that. I think another league that could go up there is the PWHL, Professional Women's Hockey League, getting up there. And then we have other, leagues out there that are, kind of on the rise. And I think it's really good to have that kind of competition. You have the United Football League, that's a spring football league for American football that's coming up in the UFL. St. Louis has its own team, the St. Louis Battlehawks. I think that the idea of adding these new spheres of influence, these new prongs in the life of daily Americans, the daily life of Americans, I think it's really important to be able to do that as the MLS. And I think they did a very good job of it on Sunday last week in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and I think for me, there was two things they may have missed for promoting MLS. So yes, they've promoted the most notable player that you could have for your league, but also I think they may have or should have promoted some of the Americans that are actually doing well in MLS, because you also still need to have someone that almost kind of represent who you are. So it's nice to always, show the international players, but sometimes you want to see, your local kid or someone that's being represented in there. I think that would have gone a long way.
Yeah, for sure.
But yes, I think and hopefully it will reach some corner of the U.S. that maybe not necessarily want to follow the MLS, and maybe that was the nice picture of it. But I guess those 30 seconds, we'll see how it translates to viewers.
We shall see. I think there's no problem in St. Louis with viewership and fan interaction, but we'll see what happens with some of these bigger market teams. Maybe don't get as much love. Sporting Kansas City saw a lot of empty seats last season in Sporting Kansas City.
Who?
Saw a lot of yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Saw a lot of empty seats last season with them. That might be a them problem. I haven't seen empty seats in regular season games for City. But anyways, transitioning a little bit, Oscar, you said you were disagreeing a little bit with the stats in your hot take. Let's hear it. Let's hear the hot take from Oscar, the man himself. Go ahead.
Okay, so my hot topic for today was actually the role that Celio Pompeu will play this year in the team. And I know it's going to be a hot take just because a lot of people have a lot of love for Celio. And I don't think he's a bad player whatsoever. I think he's a great player. He has developed very well in the years that he has played in the MLS. Just seeing how he played that first game in the SLU field when we first formed St. Louis City SC. And compared to what he is now, it has developed very well. Now, my hot take is that I don't think he has a spot to nearly have enough minutes this season for St. Louis SC. I know you're saying the stats say that he was very effective dribbling, creating opportunities and all that. But let's remember that when he was creating those opportunities, when he was dribbling all those, St. Louis City didn't have anybody else to do it. He was the only guy that he was creating stuff last year because he had to. Now, there's different team, but that's not going to happen, and the team's not going to depend on Celio to dribble. It's going to depend on different things. So it's something that I don't see him playing as much as people want. And I could be wrong, obviously. That's what I'm bringing the topic. But I don't think he's going to go over Wallem on the left side. I don't think he's going to go over Tøtland on the left side. I don't think he's more consistent at I don't think in roles that they're more defensive, he's not better than Vasilev on those roles. So there's already 4 or 5 players over him that I would personally put first in my team instead of Celio, unless I need an extra third forward out there and creating a PK play or something dangerous that create a set piece over there.
I understand. I'm going to throw a question right back at you, Oscar. So you said earlier in that monologue that you said that Celio was the one creating chances because no one else was before Celio got injured and before the summer transfers came in. Well, before Celio got injured, Schuler Klaus was still performing all right. Simon Betcher had just arrived. Indiana Vasilev and Nukvi Thoresen were still making plays. I would say there were no finishers. I saw a lot of playmakers in that stretch. I mean, you had guys like Jay Reed on the left side who were making plays up on the left wing, near the corner as a left back. I mean, I saw a lot of playmaking and a lot of playmaking abilities from these guys. I didn't see a lot of finishing. That's what I talked about earlier with the lack of, you had touches in the box, you have a lack of good shots. And I just don't think, would you rather have a guy like Celio Pompeu or a guy like Rasmus Alm that can be a consistent sub or a guy that can fit in and play minutes when you really, really need him? Because I think he's a more offensive-minded player than a guy like Wallem or a guy like Ostrak or Durgan that you can fit in there if you need a goal. I think Celio could be that guy that you fit in for the last 45 if you really need it. Would you say the same?
Yeah, I think I stay with my thought because especially with the formation that the team's playing right now, you depend on that left wing and the right winger to go up and down all the way. And even though you say Celio doesn't shy away from defensive duties, and statistically, maybe in the fields and if you would get out of the numbers and observe more, he lacks on tracking a lot. He's good on pressing. He's good at taking the ball up there when the team is pressing as a unit. But the moment the ball goes back, that's a hole he leaves, and he never goes back. And that's why City has been very weak on the left side, because that left midfielder, whoever it was in the older system, he always lacked on that. He always lacked on returning and supporting the left back. It was not Nelson's fault. It was not Reed's fault. It was not Dyer's fault. It was not whoever other we have had in the left side. It was not their fault that everything was coming on that upload. Is because there was not tracking back from the midfielders.
So I guess one thing I'm probably thinking is hopefully maybe Olaf, during, how we were criticized, some people were criticizing the coaches for not, thinking, on the flow of the game or preparing based on what team we play against. Maybe those will be some of those situations to where Celio may find more time. Is that, depending on if we're playing LAFC or we're playing Real Salt Lake, LAFC is a more offensive team, so they will be going forward a lot more, where we be able to counter them, and then we still need Celio up top. Or I'm wondering if this maybe the old regime may have not fit him exactly like his playoff style of play.
Yeah.
I
maybe
think like
Jordan-
his formation
Jordan might be his
is more disadvantage for him.
Huh?
I think this new formation is a bigger disadvantage for him.
I think Celio, it'll be interesting to see.
Because creating a 3-5 and defensive ways is creating a 5-2.
Yeah,
and I'm wondering because he attracts a lot of players his way when he's trying to dribble, right? So I think that's maybe where he will free up. What? Say that again?
And then he commits a penalty.
No, when he attracts more defenders, so that means that will kind of free up.
Okay.
So
if he keeps it up there, so you're saying more like if he's a threat in the attack, then it will force the defender to stay back instead of like having to chase him.
Yes, because
I have some breaking news here. Breaking news: we saw that Cincinnati just got rid of Lucho Acosta, going to FC Dallas. Well, FC Cincinnati are finalizing a blockbuster deal to sign midfielder Evander from the Portland Timbers. Per sources, Timbers will receive $12 million plus add-ons. Wow. For reference, Cincinnati got $5 million in the transfer for Lucho Acosta. So we're seeing a $7 million difference, basically getting rid of Acosta and bringing in Evander from the Timbers. We get more of an explanation for that Lucho Acosta move right now. This was 10 minutes ago that this was posted by Tom Bogert.
I think that was part of the domino effect. I think Evander was out of Portland a long time ago. I think they were just waiting to find a way to get a spot freed up for him. I think it was just one of those domino effects where it's like, we need to get rid of this guy so we can get him, and we cannot do it until that's
finished.
It's going to be very interesting because there's a lot of big players moving the moment money can be exchanged. And I think this offseason of the MLS has been very exciting, I think, for me. Just seeing how things are moving and the people they're bringing in, even though maybe not for our team, but just the movement in general. So I wonder what the other Brazilian now is going to do in Cincy, which I guess we'll see him.
We shall see.
That's like a good thing and a bad thing. We got rid of Evander on the west, but now we got Lucho in the west.
That's why I'm trying to celebrate, but I'm like, dang, now we have to
like yes, but no. Yes, but no.
For sure.
Okay.
So that's one of those.
Evander, I think in general, I think he was a more influential overall, even like the numbers don't say, because I mean Lucho Costa scored and assists so many goals. But I don't know, like the style of play of Evander, like especially how he destroyed City with 10 men. I'm like that day shocked me a lot. Like how he definitely destroyed City with Portland having 10 men, and I was like, yeah, we need a player like that.
Yep.
Let's hope Cello Hartel is our guy that is gonna do that to teams.
Yeah, we have a lot of surprise for a lot of teams because it's not the season 2 teams that we have. All right, it looks like I guess the other update, we do have LAFC against Club America as well. I believe they are playing now, and people are having issues watching it, but it's one of those others, I guess, preseason high stake teams.
Yep. For sure.
All right, so that was your hot topic. So
that was my hot topic.
Agreement?
I hope
is that it?
Yeah, I mean, I wish him the best. Obviously, he's part of our team. Is a great guy. He has talent. I just don't see it in the way that the team set up for this season. Obviously, he's having minutes in preseason, but they want him to have minutes in preseason because they want him to get back in that playing rhythm that he lost through the injury. But when it comes to competition, is he gonna have that much? Is he gonna, or he's gonna play like the last 10 minutes when we need a goal and we're just going hats off everybody going to the goal area and try to create something. But I don't think he's gonna be a starting player. That some people say like, oh no, Celio is gonna be our starting left. I'm like, no, he's not even close for that. So yeah, I mean, it's gonna be a tough season for him, especially coming back from an injury and getting his spot back. So that he had last year because there was no one else to force him to get out. Because I mean, you mentioned Novi Tourism, he was not even close to get any type of pressure on Celio. Indy was used everywhere, and he's gonna keep being used everywhere because that's what he is. He's a great player to put him in any position that you need in the moment. Yeah, and even like I don't even know if Rasmus is gonna have continuous minutes. I mean, he's one of my favorite players. I think he's a very influential player when he's on the field. He gives everything in defense and offense, and I don't think he's gonna have that many minutes either.
Yeah, I think we just had a small dose of him. That's why, unfortunately, we have not seen. If we could see like a full half season at least of his performance, I think that will kind of help us determine. But I think one thing that it kind of helped us as well is, those two players that you just mentioned, they do have an engine behind them. So we do have, we still need to have our starting 11 and then a close 3 or 4 players so that we can actually make a difference. They're not just a bench players where Ruben has to do everything and then he's so far beyond the next man up. So I think that's why hopefully for me, Celio is if he comes back mentally just the way that he was previously, then the playing side of things will just come with time and confidence. If he's on the field and he's not doing as much dribbling or, enjoying like he used to before the injury, that's when my head will start like, oh crap, what's going on? So that's great hot topic. Agreement. It happens. It's not too hot of a hot topic just yet, though. I'm waiting for Oscar to move it up.
It's a pretty hot take. I know a lot of people like Celio, including myself.
Yeah, I mean it is something that will hurt people if they hear it and say like, no, but it's Celio. Celio has to be like, even like my Santos community, like we all obviously cheer for our people and but it's for me it's hard to defend him and say like, no, he's gonna be one of the tops. System doesn't help and all that, so I don't want to repeat myself. But I wanted to mention something else. It's not a hot topic, but it was something curious that I watched. I don't know if any of you saw it. It was the highlights from the preseason game Inter Miami against Olympia of Honduras. I don't know if anybody watched any of that.
I watched snippet of it. I'm wondering which part are you going to bring up?
So it was, for me, it's like, this has to be fix. There was 2 goals or 3 goals where Messi had the ball and nobody is even trying to tackle him, to touch him, to even bother him. And I'm like, okay, I get it. It's a preseason game. You got Messi on the field, but are we like just supposed to get into rhythm? Like, it's a preseason. You gotta do something. There was a guy just jogging back, saw the pass, look at him, look at the other one. Oh, they score. Okay, Good. I was like, wait, that doesn't look good. Like, you're a professional player. No, don't do that.
I've seen part of that, and I also saw the one where Neymar was playing. That almost happened the same thing, and then at the end of the game, literally 19 grown men were lining up to get hugs and pictures. I'm like, I was like, I totally understand, right? But to some point, go in the tunnel.
Yep.
Or just walk by them. Just go like this and say, we'll take a picture, and then go on. And I think we've had the same thing with Messi and in MLS too. So I understand that part, and I think I spoke to one of my friends that play in Ligue 1 and which Messi played for a long time. There's a certain way where, from I understand, some certain players that are even that great or good, they may respect a player even more if for the whole 90 minutes they're playing hard against them, pushing, tug, shirt, talk little smack. At the end, it's most likely that player that will get the jersey or that will get like a long time friendship afterward, because that relationship is more competitive. So they can talk about it versus the person that just, play gently and then have a marker in their shorts for Messi signature at the end. So I'm 100% with you on that. The competitive person of mine, even if I see Zidane on the field and we're playing one-on-one, it has to be hard for the entire time. Once referee say it's over, cross the white line, then we can go and hang out. But
yeah, I mean, in the preseason game, you don't want to hurt anybody. I get it, but at the same time, like, show yourself that you can stop Messi. Show yourself that you can stop Suarez. Like, if I was a player, I would have gone hard enough to like show him, like, hey, you're not gonna just go around me every time you want, even if you are going to, because Messi can do whatever he wants when he wants to. But it was a little suspicious, let's say it that way. Like, it was like something's kind of like fix, arrange type of scenario, protect Messi, do not touch him. I don't know, because the other friendly match that they had, I do not recall what the other team was, but Messi did get a very nasty tackle on a sideline, and almost the team got in a scrap because of it. And I was like, okay, I get it. That's one extreme. Like, that's like, dude, what are you doing? It was preseason game. The ball was not even near, and you went two cleats up, slide tackle to Messi. To I'm just gonna admire him and let him do whatever he wants. So
we can say Colo Conte is probably the last person that actually stopped Messi or destroyed his game for the World Cup in 2018. I would say probably he's the last person that I could say that.
Yeah. And a big stage, obviously, too.
Oh, yes. Yes. He earned it, but yes.
Yeah.
All right, so I guess we started from a very hot topic to showing love to another player from another team that we won't name, but yes, he's one of the greatest of all time. I had to say that.
For sure.
Yes. Hopefully you guys didn't catch it's one of the greatest.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very excited for what's happening next. The 22nd couldn't come soon enough. Friday.
Wait, hold on. You're going way too fast, way too early. Like, you went straight to the 22nd.
My bad. Yeah, no, I mean, we got some crazy. The 14th, the jersey reveal.
Yeah, come on.
Well, first of all, we got a game tomorrow.
Reveal. That's
preseason.
We're going way too quick here.
We got a game tomorrow. Come on, guys. We gotta win this game at least. So we're not.
Yeah, we had a sneak peek of what the jersey may look like. People are saying there's a collar, definitely didn't look like the one we saw that was leaked, so that's good. It looked very different, which I'm happy about, because that leaked jersey looked like something you find at a Goodwill. But I think I can't be talking. This is from Goodwill, very comfortable. But I mean, it looked like something that not a MLS team would wear. And I know Adidas has a low bar, but I didn't think it was that low, and thankfully, I don't think it is.
It might. I will say it's that for me. It looked like one of the trainer polos, but he
had a sponsor.
Yes. So I'm wondering if is it a travel polo, maybe? So I'm just wondering. Hopefully, it's not as plain as it is. So that's my main thing, is that maybe they will use the template and then use a flare on top of it.
Yeah, I'm hoping there's like an arch design on the front.
Yes, a St. Louis flavor to it, like the other teams have done so far.
I'll tell you, I think LAFC already revealed their authentic for this year, the white one. Scary. And if you see the white one, be ready for a red one.
Yeah.
Because it's exactly the same, just on our colors.
Yep. I mean, I'm very excited for all the things coming up.
Sorry, Mom.
Jersey reveal. On the 14th, the kickoff at the factory, I believe. Yep. On the 16th, I'll see you there, Mo. And then we got the first game coming up. You got the closed friendly on the 15th in between those 2 days against San Jose.
And there's something happening on the 15th waiting to be announced.
Yeah, we'll see.
Exclusive.
Yeah, I'm excited. But I mean, we're also seeing, we're getting closer and closer to the first game, and I'm ready to hear those STL chants. I'm ready to hear, the worst St. Louis City, Berkey in your head. I'm very excited for all these chants. They've been ringing in my head since the season ended, and I can't wait to see the fans come out in spirit, ready to go on Saturday in 2 weeks.
I want to see the first march. That's the one I'm sure Oscar is excited about that one. But
of course.
I think that's one that I'm also excited, because that's pretty much tells us where it's on.
We're back.
I wonder if they got a new hype video, because the hype video they used to play had Bradley Carnell's voice still in it, even at the end of the season.
I'm sure.
Which, that's valid. But I wonder if they have a new one that's going to be better than the last. I'm excited because they had some really cool visuals. But if they can make a Super Bowl commercial, they can make a hype video. No,
there's definitely one. I'll tell you that.
Ooh, I'm excited. Little insider information here. Okay.
Now you see why we bring these people on here. We all have our little scoop in there.
Yeah. So I do know from the word in the street that yes, there is a new hype video. So obviously very excited. I have no idea how it looks. I don't know what it is about. Nothing like that. But I know there is one, and we'll be very excited to see it on the first game. On my end, to say goodbye, in my end, I will be there for this 16 on Sunday.
Oh yeah,
is that right? 16.
Nice.
I'll be there. I'll be actually on the stage with Florida Noise. I'll be one of the couples leading some of the chants that we're gonna have there.
Nice.
So if you guys join us over there, I'll be up there.
Look at that. We have
I'll just be lingering. I'll be there somewhere in a corner writing stuff. We'll see what happens. I'm excited. You got to bring me some swag, Mo, like we talked about. If you have any extras, let me know. I will. I'll come with a bag to collect some that day. Okay, we'll see what happens there. I'm excited. I think the fans are excited. Everyone's excited. The players, the coaches, the management, the in-stadium announcers, the workers at City Park. I think everyone's excited for the season to start, and it's only, 11 days away. And when you're watching this, it'll be 10 days away, because we're filming this on Tuesday. But we'll see what happens then. But I'm very excited to see this team in action. I'm really excited to hear Joey Zanaboni saying City leads again. That's been stuck in my head since September of last year as well. And I think if you guys have any other things to say, that mostly covers everything, in my opinion.
No, and I think probably one of the things I'm planning on working on is hopefully we'll do like maybe a live sort of thing for the 14th, since we'll be there for the revealing.
I will not.
What?
I'll be at school. It's a Friday at 10 a.m.
Yeah, that's what happened. So I will.
One of the cons. It's all right.
So I will take care of that part. And also, if you have any questions, just send them my way. And not only for Caroline and the Matt Seebeck or the special guest that we don't know who will be there, let's get those questions ready, and I'll get them answered. So we'll do a vlog live and for the revealing, and we'll post it on Top Corner Talk and everywhere else. So
I'm excited.
Spread the word. All right, Oscar, anything else?
I mean, this is just my wishful thinking. One thing that I would change out of the announcement on City Park or any Jersey Park now is to call the names when we score or when we do the lineup European style. Announcement
European style.
says the first name, crowd says the last name.
Oh, nice. That'd be cool.
All right, so I guess
that's my wishful thinking. That would be like my request. If someone asked me, what do you want to say to the announcer? I said, do it this way, please.
Nice. I will tell him Oscar asked for it. Well,
and they would say, who they?
I think I would be like, just look down over there. There's a guy that's swinging his arm back and forth. That's that guy.
Wants it.
Yes,
he wants it.
Yes, and he's pointing at you now. Awesome. So well, thank you for the two of you for joining for now the Top Corner Talk. And of course, I had to play the Houdini and disappear for a little bit and have our good friend Charlie do the introduction. So teamwork, make it work. So definitely appreciate your time. 10:30. Hope I'll see you guys.
Yeah, thanks for joining us, guys.
Yeah. See you guys next week.
Yes, indeed. With a brand new jersey.
Excited.
Let's go, City.
Take care.